listeners know how good a football player you were. I can still see you playing that fullback, knocking those players out of the way. And I believe I could run behind you.
Martin remember that we gave summer and you playing fullback back there. And that's all you want to wait and watch what's happening anyway. I wanted to get and I wanted that back. Biggest mistake ever made.
The Martin Houston Show with national championship-winning fullback Martin Houston, giving you 1 hour of intense, hard-hitting analysis from an insider's perspective. It's time for the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Good morning. Welcome into the Martin Houston Show on Tide 100.9 on your radio dial. Also, you can check us out on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. We're live, local, and ready to get things going on this beautiful Monday morning. Glad to have you with us. You are absolutely 100% in with the Martin Houston Show. We're glad to have you. Want to get things going right now and encourage you to be a part of what is happening with us. Want to bring Xavier into the program in just a moment. Want to invite you to get in on the conversation as well. Remember that this is a day that the Lord has made, so let's rejoice and be glad in it. Take some time today to notice someone, love someone, serve someone, be the difference you want to see in the world today. All right. Good morning, X. How you doing, sir?
Good morning. Doing well. How are you?
Doing well. Lots of things to get to in the weekend, but what's the big thing for you as you look at this weekend, from this weekend?
Alabama's dominance for sure on the basketball court. Big wins for the men and women's team over Auburn, as well as, even though he came up short last night, I think Jalen Hurts is finally silenced a lot of the critics with his record-setting bowl performance in the long.
Yeah, definitely big time for Jalen Hurts in terms of what he was able to do. Iron Bowl weekend, I call it, from the standpoint of Alabama basketball, both men and women getting a big win. So we will continue to talk about that victory in terms of what Alabama was able to do on the court. We'll break that down. And Jalen Hurts not only had a great performance, but a record-setting performance in several ways in a loss, as you said, in the Super Bowl. Unfortunate, but definitely something for him to be proud of. But Jalen Hurts went in there to win, and I think he did everything within his power to give his team a chance to do that. Lots of reasons that game didn't turn out the way many Bama fans and OU fans were hoping to get to, but we'll talk about that. We'll talk about Nate Oates and what he was able to accomplish down on the plains. And do you like what Nate Oates is doing, as I call it, goading the Auburn Tigers a little bit several times this week, referring to this game as Auburn's Super Bowl. So do you like it? Not like it when Nate Oates is doing that. So, but definitely a very, very interesting time. I mean, interesting conversations from Nate Oates. So just to recap once again, if you want to get in on the conversation, 205-342-9904. 205-342-9904. That's the Alabama One hotline. We can talk Bama hoops, Iron Bowl, both men and women. Congratulations to Christy Curry as she got another win as they blew out the Auburn Tigers. Not a really good basketball team, the Auburn Tigers, but anytime you beat your in-state rivals, it's a good thing. Sweeping the season series for Alabama, and hey, maybe setting themselves up as the third, fourth best team in the SEC. Is that good enough for Bama fans? We'll see. Look like they're going to make the tournament 2 years in a row, and only for the second time in like the last quarter century. So kudos to them. Alabama got a new staffer. Haven't done much research on him, but interesting to see if John McNutty from Boston College, will he be any good? What will he bring to the table? So we can talk about that as well. But X, you're talking about, let's talk about the Jalen Hurts scenario in terms of what Jalen was able to do. Has Jalen Hurts finally shut up all of the naysayers? Has Jalen Hurts finally, crossed that hump?
I believe that he has. I mean, when you look at last night's performance, 374 yards of total offense, 4 touchdowns, a quarterback record for rushing touchdowns, and tying Terrell Davis for the most rushing touchdowns in a Super Bowl with 3. Great performance. He did have the fumble that was returned for a touchdown, but he put that team on his back when he needed to and made every play that he could to get his team a lead and then get them back into the game. The 2-point conversion as well, which was just a I want it more than you type of play. I don't know how you can really fault him. The best defense in the league gave up 28 points and really were dominated in the second half of the game. But as an individual performance to carry the Eagles the way that he did, you couldn't have asked for more.
Absolutely. The Eagles defense did not hold up their part of the deal. Every part of the Eagles' game plan, I think, was executed to perfection, except for they couldn't get a stop in the second half at all. And when they did, the holding in that scenario, what do you think about the call late in the game, the holding call?
I think that holding call robbed us of what could have been one of the best endings in Super Bowl history. It would have made that fourth down. They kick the field goal, they make it, miss it, whatever. And then you give the Eagles the ball back with about a minute 40 left and a timeout. And at that point in the time, it's made the best man win. You hate to see names end on calls like that, no matter really who you're rooting for, because you want the excitement of it and the thrill of the finish. But, in my opinion, if it's a 50-50 call, you don't call it in that situation. If I saw Richard Sherman say, if it can be debated, you don't make that call, especially in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Joe, what did you think about the call? Good call, bad call, or based on which fan base you are?
I thought it was a bad call, and I wasn't really cheering hard for either squad because but no, I thought it was a bad call, and I think exactly like Xavier said, we were robbed of about a minute of a great minute 45. You look at the Chiefs may have still won. They outscored them in the second half. They played a great second half. So I don't want to take anything away from the Chiefs at all. But the call wasn't that good, in my opinion.
Yeah, and Kurt Lewis saying you call the game the same for 60 minutes, and Bradbury said he held him, so enough said. Well, not really enough said because we're still talking about it today, and people are going to talk about it, and it doesn't change anything. And Bradbury, yeah, he held, but you could call that probably just about every play. And in the question, and this is what my problem was. A lot of times they don't call it when it doesn't impact the play. Like and what's his name threw that ball away. But either way, with that said, smart coaching by Andy Reid to have his guy slide down. It was probably the worst ending to a great game I think I've ever seen in my life. And so it doesn't change anything, but neither does anything we talk about on here really change anything. So if we only talk about what changed things, Mr. Lewis, then we probably need to get rid of talk radio, right, guys? Because what we do over here is nothing more than opinion. And what's his name is the best quarterback in the league, Patrick Mahomes. But new style, new flow of offense. I don't know if I've seen a dual threat quarterback execute offensively better than Jalen Hurts did last night. I don't think that I've seen Lamar Thomas execute better. I mean, every aspect of the game, to me, Jalen was, MVP level and would have walked away with the MVP and went toe-to-toe with the best quarterback in the league right now. In my opinion, he went toe-to-toe with the best guy in the league and did everything in his power to do it. And, and some people say, and Curtis said Kansas City could have scored a touchdown. Well, there was a reason Kansas City didn't score a touchdown. Kansas City didn't score a touchdown because they were afraid Jalen Hurts would go down and score a touchdown. I mean, like I said, it was brilliant coaching by Andy Reid in terms of him taking it down. But when it comes to the play that Jalen Hurts in the play that he fumbled on, that may have been the worst call of the night. It was 3rd and 6, 3rd and a long 5, and they called a quarterback run. Thought that probably changed the game for several reasons. And the Eagles' defense is, to me, I look to the Eagles' defense. They had been stout all year, and they just couldn't figure out a way to stop the Kansas City Chiefs. X, you have anything else before we get to break?
Not really. Just, kudos to both teams for playing one of the best Super Bowls that I can really think of when you look at what both teams brought to the table. And they both executed perfectly with their game plan at the end of the day. And at the end, Patrick Mahomes proved why you can't count him out in any game and why he did win the MVP with another record-setting season for him in total yards. But man, you just wish it would have ended differently with a different ending to the game.
Yeah, the Chiefs, like I said, Bieniemy was Bieniemy, Andy Reid, whoever gets credit, they were magnificent in the second half, and Jalen went blow for blow with the best quarterback in the league. And like I said, my biggest thing is record-setting performance in a loss, and many people are saying the best performance, and I know you don't get any credit for this or anything, and no kudos, but Jalen Hurts, the best performance by a losing quarterback in Super Bowl history. Most rushing yards by a quarterback, most rushing touchdowns by a quarterback, tied for the most rushes in a game, and had what I don't even remember what's the name's passing yards, but had more passing yards, controlled. Jalen had 304, a little more than Patrick, but Patrick did some things to get his team in position. So kudos to the Chiefs on the big win, but have to give you a shout out. Curtis said, I told you Friday the best QB played for KC, and that would be the difference. The best defense. Of course, who said that KC was that Mahomes wasn't a better quarterback than Jalen, but for Jalen's execution, Jalen played as well as Mahomes minus the one performance. And like I said, kudos to him. I ain't gonna take anything away from
the best QB had 182 yards and 3 touchdowns. A guy who people were calling for his job before the season started had 304.
Yeah. So, and like I said, he dominated the game. They just, if the Chiefs get just couldn't get a stop. And I will tell you, I cannot tell you how important offensive coordinator and play calling is. When Mahomes' leg was pretty much shot, Andy Reid had a totally different game plan, and the Chiefs just executed it to perfection. So let's get the break here. We got Robert on the phone. We'll continue to get but shout out to Jalen Hurts for one of the best performances in Super Bowl history. Team came up a little short, but I'll say it now. I still think Jalen Hurts get to a second Super Bowl before the other Alabama guys. Jalen Hurts gets to another Super Bowl before the other Alabama guys get to their first one. So I'll make that prediction, and we'll see what happens. Right here on the Martin Houston Show, we'll keep the conversation going. You're welcome to get in on it at 205-342-9904.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, no active wrecks. Things looking pretty good on this Monday morning after the Super Bowl and before Valentine's Day. But if you do see conditions, give me a call, 205-886-8886. Get the deal of a lifetime now at Townsend Nissan, $2,000 off selected models, interest rates as low as 0%, and great selection. I'm Captain Ray.
Has the pandemic affected your business? Even with more and more customers going online in the past 5 years, online business has grown greatly due to the pandemic. Now more than ever, it's important to have a strong online presence so that customers can find your business and products easily. That's where Townsquare comes in to help. Go to mylocalcustomers.com for a free competitive analysis to see how your business is up to the competition. And if you're one of the first to sign up, you'll get $500 in free advertising on this radio station. That's mylocalcustomers.com.
Spokesperson. Action Matters is responsible for the content of this ad. Attention all women who use Tylenol or other medications containing acetaminophen, NyQuil or Dayquil while pregnant. If you are loved ones who Tylenol, Excedrin, NyQuil, Dayquil, and other over-the-counter pain relievers while pregnant, and your child was later diagnosed with autism, you may be entitled to significant cash compensation. Call 800-859-4205 now. A recent study from the National Institute of Health suggests use of the popular pain or cold medications during pregnancy may be linked to a higher risk of having a baby with autism. New and emerging lawsuits claim that manufacturers knew of this risk and failed to properly warn pregnant women of the potential harm for their unborn children. If you or a loved one took Tylenol or other popular pain relief medications containing acetaminophen while pregnant and your child was diagnosed with autism, you may be entitled to significant cash compensation. Call 800-859-4205 now. Don't wait. Time is limited to file a claim. Call 800-859-4205. That's 800-859-4205. 800-859-4205.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
A nice warm up today with a good supply of sunshine, the high 65. Fair tonight, the low at 40. Tomorrow, partially sunny, the high 68. Wednesday, mostly cloudy and mild. Showers are likely during the day, maybe a thunderstorm, the high 73. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 30 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Scott Smith and Sophomore Design, doing business for 17 plus years, specializing in graphic design services, commercial printing, promotional products, advertising specialties, and so much more. Basically, any and everything you would need to advertise, promote, and grow your business. Through strong partnerships, strong customer service, and creative ideas, they'll help you market and grow your business. Give Scott a call at 205-292-4680 or email scottis@comcast.net and visit them online at sophmartdesign.com.
It's time for the Martin Houston Show. With the same hard-hitting, no-nonsense approach in which he played the game, Martin will take you inside the locker room, down on the field, and across the goal line with his in-depth analysis.
Welcome back in to the Martin Houston Show. We're live, local, and ready to get things going. The Alabama One hotline is open for business, so give us a call, 205-342-9904, 205-342-9904. That's the Alabama One hotline, and we have Robert from Mobile. You're in with the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier. What's on your mind, sir?
Hey, guys.
Hey, now.
Hey, you come on at the same time as one of my favorite TV preachers, so so I have to, radio preacher, so I have to keep trying to switch back and forth with you guys as best I can. Hey, hey, your other question is Jalen Hurts silence the naysayers.
Yeah.
As a former naysayer, I don't know if you call me a naysayer, but somebody who didn't think he could do it on the NFL level, he silenced me a long time ago by just being consistent and being persistent in what he does. So, yeah, he's good. He proved a long time ago. He's good enough to be an NFL quarterback. Not being an NFL quarterback.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, it's still people who are doubters and questioners, but I don't think it bothers Jalen. I think it probably motivates him. Like I said, it was a losing performance, but he still climbed a mountain that very few quarterbacks have gotten to. To me, it's sort of one of those things where you get there and you happen to be going against the best guy. I think what's his name may end up playing in, barring some type of career-ending injury. I think KC and Andy Reid and Bieniemy and that crew may end up playing in 5 or 6 Super Bowls before it's all said and done. And it looks like they figured out what got them beat against Tampa Bay with the offensive line. They corrected that, and with that correction, it's going to be tough unless you can pull away. It's going to be tough to beat a Kansas City Chiefs team down the stretch because of the weapons, the coaching, and the playmaking ability of Mahomes.
Where I thought was going to come back to haunt them. Not only did you not score, you gave Mahomes 3 points. I was telling my brother, oh my gosh, you can't do that with Mahomes. But we should not be talking about the referees and the call at the end of the game. That shouldn't be a subject of conversation in the Super Bowl, especially for that ridiculous ticky-tack penalty. That flag should have been picked up. And that's the U.S. you all know, Martin, who you've forgotten more football than I'll ever know. You don't do that in that situation. You have to realize what the situation is and how important is that little ticky-tack call is. You pick it up. It's Super Bowl. This is not a regular game. It is the Super Bowl. You want the Super Bowl to end like this when a little ticky-tack foul? Really?
Well, and he did not initially.
I felt like yours and my Steelers were back in the Super Bowl again. Playing that game, I was that intense with it because of the Alabama players on it, especially Jalen Hurts. I wanted it so bad. I was like, oh my goodness, come on, guys. Oh, but that call was fatly ridiculous. I was livid at that referee. Just don't do it.
Well, and here's the thing: if he calls it immediately, I don't question it, probably. But go back and look at the time and go ahead, X.
No, it was such a late call. The hold that I'm guessing they call happened as Juju makes his break, but that flag doesn't come until he's in the end zone and the ball's hitting the ground.
Yeah, and that was what made it look bad and ticky-tack because he literally did. It wasn't a pass interference; it was a hold call, and the hold happened immediately at the change of direction on the route. He didn't call that, and then when Patrick threw the ball away, which he threw it probably 15 yards over his head, it was a late call. But could he technically have called it? Yes. But I mean, not technically could have called it. Could he have let it go either way? Yeah. But he didn't. He called it, and that changed the trajectory of how the game ended. I don't know that it changed the winner or not. The Eagles still had a lot of work to do, and it was several other things. Like I said, it was several other things that could have gone differently. You don't give up that type of punt return in that moment. Robert, all of the Eagles players, all on that punt return, all came to one side of the field, lined up behind each other. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, you all hit a nail on the head. The Eagles defense and special teams let them down royally at the end of the second half. I mean, it was like two different teams came out in the first half and second half on the defense. Because I did to make defensive adjustments. I mean, really? Like, some guys are wide open. You saw those touchdowns. Guys are wide open. Okay, that's not offensive adjustments. Somebody's out of position.
Well, I will tell you what they figured out. The Eagles were playing a lot of man, and they were playing aggressive on the motions. Okay, any movement in that second half confused the Eagles. The first touchdown before the snap, I told Simi, I said they're confused. They're confused. They don't know what to do here. And then both guys went with Kelsey. And then on the second touchdown, same guy, number 29, he is going to keep them from getting in the flat, and they had picked that up on film. I think that play, the second touchdown where he was wide open, I believe that was an option route with the motion. Robert, they set those up. I mean, literally that motion, I believe that was an option route by number 24 for the Chiefs. If he was in front of the DB, he was supposed to keep going, and he was going to be out in the flat on the right side. But when the DB overplayed it, he planted and came back out into the flat. And I think that was coaching. I think Andy Reid went to a quick slant game in which put Juju Schuster-Smith into the play, et cetera. So, you can't take anything away. It was a great Super Bowl. And the two best teams, I don't know if you saw the stat lineup or not. Same record, same seed, same points. It was all those things, and it literally came down to a field goal. Either way, it was either going to be a field goal win or a touchdown win with the Eagles driving the score. Either way, it was going to be a one-score game with the Chiefs either winning it on pretty much the last possession, or the Eagles having to score. And that's what you want in the Super Bowl. I just hate that it was a critical call that extended a drive that caused the ending of the game. I don't know if it changed the outcome or not. Thanks, man. Appreciate you. And I'm glad to hear that I'm competing against your favorite preacher and not against another sports talk show.
Oh, never that, buddy. Never that. All right.
All right, man. You have to share with me who that is sometimes. All right, let's get to Alan. Alan, you're in with the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier on the Alabama One Hotline. What's on your mind, sir?
Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning. Whether it's a ticky-tack call, a penalty is a penalty, and it was a penalty. I was listening to a radio show after the game, and they were saying the referee actually made the call after it impeded him from catching the ball. But I thought it was uncatchable anyway. I thought Patrick Mahomes was throwing the ball away. By the letter of the law, it was a penalty. So
one thing, Alan, he didn't call pass interference, okay? He called holding, and the difference is that's why it wasn't. Those who said that, they're wrong. It had nothing to do with catching the ball, because if it had been a pass interference, then the other officials would have came over and overruled him. He called holding, okay, and that happened when Smith Juju came off the ball. He was coming in, and then he planted and rolled back out. And when he rolled, he grabbed his jersey briefly, didn't impede him. In holding, it doesn't. If it's a holding penalty, it doesn't matter if it's catchable. Okay, if it's PI, if he had called it, that's why I'm telling you the timing of the flag was like it was a pass interference, because he didn't call the initial holding. He made his move, he rolled, and then he was going for the ball, and then the ball goes over his head, and then he throws the flag. So the timing of the flag looked like a pass interference. The call he made was holding, which nullifies the fact that Patrick threw the ball away. And so that's my point is he didn't call it initially. He called it, but the call he made, based on the way the ball was thrown, was correct.
And I've also saw I'm a big Eric Bieniemy fan, and I was reading an article the other day. I don't know if y'all read it or not. It says that the reason he hasn't been getting any calls for the head coach and the other OC job is because Andy Reid is the one that's doing all the play calling, and that's hard for me to believe. Have y'all heard that?
I mean, I've heard that a little bit, but that goes both ways. X, have you heard it? And then I'll come back and comment.
Yeah, I've heard it. I mean, but it's one of those things. Andy Reid is definitely, without a question, a huge part of that offense. But I noticed one thing: every time you're watching a Chiefs game and you watch who Patrick go to when there's a timeout, a stoppage in play, and he's going to Bieniemy. And I think he's going to Bieniemy because Bieniemy is the one that's talking to him, letting him know what's going on with the play call. So yes, even though this is Andy Reid, it's almost like this is Nick Saban's defense, right? But we give credit to Jeremy Pruitt, we give credit to Kirby Smart. We let those guys shape that defense the way that they want it shaped under Nick Saban. It's the same thing.
Well, like go back to what back in Chicago Bulls days. People were saying that it was what was his name? The coach, but it actually was Nick Warner's defense that won everything, but he gave the head coach all the credit for it, though. Same thing.
Well, I'll tell you with Andy Reid, because Andy did this at the Eagles, he's going to get street cred because Andy Reid is an offensive genius. I mean, but what I love about Andy Reid is that he allows his coaches, he allows Bieniemy, he allows the other coaches, he allows the other players, he allows everybody to be a part of their creativity. I mean, the stuff they're doing, think about this. We're watching a Super Bowl. They're inside the 10. You know how we complain all year about not having creativity? They're inside the 10, and they run a ring around the roses with their skill position guys with the number 73 in the middle of that. And the reality of it is, if they had called a run play behind 73, he would have walked in the end zone. The way the Eagles ended up lining up, they had like two guys on that side of the ball, both of them outside the tackle, and then one guy or three guys on that side, two on the outside, one off the line, and they could have walked in if they had called that play. So Andy Reid is a genius. But the other side of it is, I think Andy did something that I've not seen Andy do after the Super Bowl. They were giving Andy all of the credit. Did you hear what he said?
Yeah, Eric Bieniemy, he called out Eric Bieniemy by name and said it was he was the one that did it.
And I believe that was intentional.
I do too.
I think that he was like, hey guys, this guy's doing this too. It's not just me. And so We'll see if that gets him anywhere. But I've heard he's a bad interview. That it just doesn't interview well, and not from an offensive standpoint, but from an overall organizational leadership standpoint is where I've heard that the teams also have concerns. What's your plan? And I don't know that to be true or not, but that's what I've heard. So,
but it's something. Obviously, it's something. That we don't know about. It had to be something somewhere, and I just hope he gets a chance.
Yeah, and hey, who knows? He may be riding this thing out, and he goes into these jobs and going, I want this, and this. And if he doesn't get it, he's satisfied to go back and coach the best quarterback in the league right now. You know what I mean? Like Andy's 64. How much longer is Andy gonna do it? So he may be just buying his time. Who knows? I don't because he's a young guy as far as his potential. So we'll see.
Y'all have a good day.
All right, thanks. Come back on the other side. We'll continue the conversation. We'll talk some Bama hoops. Bama gets a big win. Nate Oates jabbing the Auburn Tigers with some of his words, intentional or not. Alabama basketball gets another win. Musa 12-0. Will they be the number one team in the land? Give us your thoughts and your opinions right here on the Martin Houston Show, powered by MaX Sports.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, no active wrecks. Things looking pretty good on this Monday morning after the Super Bowl and before Valentine's Day. But if you do see conditions, give me a call, 205-886-8886. Get the deal of a lifetime now at Townsend Nissan, $2,000 off selected models, interest rates as low as 0%, and great selection. I'm Captain Ray.
Hello, this is Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show, and I want to tell you about one of our great sponsors, Overflow Express Wash. Their mission is to provide great customer service with a showroom clean car and an exceptional customer service experience. They have the basic car wash that starts at $7, but you need to check out the premium wash packages, which start as low as $12 and go up to $20. They also have a membership wash club that you can get starting at $23.99, going up to $39.99. In other words, just double the regular premium package. Drop a penny, and you can be one of the great members of Overflow Express Wash. My family and I keep our cars looking good inside and out by using Overflow Express Wash. They're located on Tyler Boulevard, right next door to Alabama 1, or you can find them online at overflowexpresswash.com. Andy Phillips and his team look forward to making you a part of their team.
This is Marcus agreeing to a fun winter game night, kind with fun rules.
Okay, so the first player asks the second player to pick the third player's weapon.
Fun discussion.
Wow, guys.
And other fun reasons not involving staying in and sleeping on the bed he got at Mattress Firm's President's Day sale. There, he found great deals, like a king for the price of a queen and up to $700 in savings on Sealy. So shop Mattress Firm's President's Day sale, like Marcus, and miss out on winter plans, not sleep. Restrictions apply. See store mattressfirm.com for details.
Hi.
Buzz, he appears whenever you eat Honey Nut Cheerios.
Like a genie?
Sure.
Ooh, does it grant wishes? I wish I lived in a giant boot. No, I wish I could swim with a humpback whale. No.
I can grant you a delicious bowl of High Nut Cheerios, which can help lower cholesterol as part of a heart-healthy diet.
Ooh, with heart shapes, too.
Happy Heart-Shaped Cheerios are back for a limited time. Pick up a box of Honey Nut Cheerios at your local store for an easy, delicious, and heart-healthy start to your day.
Lace up those running shoes for the Visit Tuscaloosa Half Marathon and 5K on Saturday, March 25th in Government Plaza. Register now for the 5K or half marathon before rates go up on February 28th at TuscaloosaHalf.com.
The big man is bringing you his incredible live show, 3 Seconds. The Way I Want to Go Tour. Saturday, March 4th at Center Stage at Silverstar Convention Center. The party you don't want to miss. Tickets on sale now at PearlRiverResort.com.
With a country girl laugh.
New album available now. 3 Seconds. The Way I Want to Go Tour.
The sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team. The Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier, powered by MaX Sports. It is a great morning. We're glad to have you as a part of the show. The Alabama One hotline is open for business. And speaking of Alabama One, go check us out, alabama1.org. You can find out more about the great promotions by going there. But hey, listen, 2 ways to win. Swipe to win. $500 giveaway. If you already have an Alabama One card and you use that card, you're able to get entered to win $500 a week. Every swipe equals an entry. We're giving away $500 every week for the next 2 months. If you don't have an Alabama One card and you want to get in on that contest, then go get that new card, get entered to win $500, and you have an opportunity to win that $500. Once your card is delivered, you have it in hand and begin to swipe. You'll also be able to swipe and win. You can also enter by upping your limits as well. So if you qualify and you're maxed out on your current card, or you want more limit there, you can also enter to win $500 that way as well. So we're giving it away. You might as well get in on it. That's alabama1.org. You can apply online, or you can stop by one of our branch locations. Also, just remember that like everything else, the supply chain can impact the length of time it takes for you to get that physical card in your hand. All right, X, man, a great weekend of basketball. Nate Oates and the Alabama Crimson Tide, big win in the Iron Bowl. Just what's your overall thoughts and takeaway from Alabama basketball? 77-69 against an Auburn team that at one point had shot 21 free throws, made 19, I think 19 of them, or 18 of them. Just an unbelievable fight by Alabama men's basketball in terms of sticking with it.
Yeah, I mean, just a great performance to not give up, not quit when things were looking a little rough for a while. But the performances that we saw Saturday, Jaden Bradley having a big game, Rylan Griffin having a big game. On a night where Brandon Miller struggled, over 7 from 3-point range. Mark Sears was a little slow getting started. To see those two freshmen come in and play as big as they did in that environment just showed how much depth this Alabama team is.
Yeah, you have Griffin, to me, who is the most improved. Griffin is the most improved player on this team. He has been just steadily getting better, and it's almost like in the loss against Oklahoma, he got a shot, he got a chance, and he has taken full advantage of his opportunity to play, and he's just been a difference maker in terms of Griffin. I mean, I love it. Led the team in scoring, playing with moxie. So without a doubt, as much as Clowney has improved his stock and potential first-round draft status, Griffin, not talking about him leaving early, but from where he started to where he is now, clearly the most improved player and freshman on this team. Joe, as you watched this game, Alabama went down to Auburn, got a big win. What were your thoughts on it?
Just a lot of toughness down there, and really was able to make a lot of shots. I really was impressed with Alabama's ability. I mean, you already hit on Rylan Griffin. I think that he's just been the last 3 or 4 weeks has really just come on as such a huge asset off the bench. And you saw that you saw Alabama's depth once again become a factor and uh, really utilize the depth to win the game.
Yeah, X, as I watched that game, it's like they just kept – Auburn was playing near perfect, and it looked like, man, Alabama – and then Alabama would close the gap. And it's like, wow, we were just down. But they did this – remember the narrative that got out there? The way you beat Saban is with a, dual threat quarterback. And, Manziel did it, and a couple other guys did it that were elite. And when you look at it from the standpoint of what's happening with the narrative around Alabama can only win with threes, did this game finally put an end to that?
Goes a long way to putting an end to that. But I mean, I think Alabama's always going to have a chance to win when their defense is playing the way that it's playing. Once again, 12-0 in SEC play, and no teams have scored more than 69 points on Alabama in SEC play. So, yes, that they helped they started hitting mid-range shots, taking to the hole really aggressively, and this Alabama team, if they continue to play like this, and with the three shot falling, it's going to be hard to beat.
Yeah, hey, let's go ahead and get the break here. Coming back on the other side, we'll talk about, is this team poised to be number one? We'll talk once again about Nate Oates and his moxie and attitude, like it, love it, hate it. And then also Nick Saban will tee up the McNutty conversation. And also when you look at the game, listen, I mean, what's his name lost playing time, in my opinion, right? Jayden Bradford. But why? Because Griffin gives you a little bit more shot, but he was the perfect guy for Saturday. We'll talk about that, why, and what else this Alabama team can look forward to as they start this week of play against the Tennessee Volunteers. We'll be back in just a moment to wrap up this edition of the Martin Houston Show.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, no active wrecks. Things looking pretty good on this Monday morning after the Super Bowl and before Valentine's Day. But if you do see conditions, give me a call, 205-886-8886. Get the deal of a lifetime now at Townsend Nissan, $2,000 off selected models, interest rates as low as 0%, and great selection. I'm Captain Ray.
Here's what's trending on the Tuscaloosa thread.
Good Monday morning. A young man and his wife are dead after a murder-suicide in Tuscaloosa Sunday. According to area police, Jack Kennedy, the commander of the Tuscaloosa Violent Crimes Unit, the police were called for an Old Green Grove at 2:15 Sunday morning. Inside 24-year-old Devin Walker and his wife Bernice Jane Walker were both found dead from gunshot wounds. Kennedy said they believe Walker shot Bernice after an argument and killed himself. With Tuscaloosa Thread.com. Go on. God, Berkeley Townsboro Media, Tuscaloosa.
Hello, this is Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show, and I want to tell you about Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing. If you're looking for a way to add value to your home, make your flower beds pop, make your landscape stand out from your neighbors, then Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing can help you do just that. They have numerous styles, but they feature the Moroccan Stone Curb Series, which includes 4 great styles and unlimited color choices. That's Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing. They are the one that can help you stand out from your neighbors. Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing, 205-331-6823. You may also find yourself with the need for a custom size stone or custom shaped stone. Then Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing can help with that as well. Paul Fuller and his team are waiting on your call right now for that free quote. If you tell them that Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show told you to stop by, you'll get a big discount. So call Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing at 205-331-6823 or visit them online at Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing LLC.
In a collision, easy decision. Make one call to one name. Mezzarino, 206-6300.
More percentage of the quantity of legal services to be performed is greater than the quantity of legal services performed by other lawyers.
It's the Tuscaloosa Community Calendar, powered by Pepsi.
The Arts Council of Tuscaloosa will host an exhibit of works presented by the Alabama Blues Project, February 6th through the 24th in the Arts Council Gallery at the Dinah Washington Cultural Arts Center. Gallery hours are weekdays 9 to noon and 1 to 4. For more information about the gallery, visit tuscarts.org. That's tuscarts.org for more information.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Interact with the Martin Houston Show by calling us at 205-342-9904 or tuning into the Martin Houston Show on Facebook.
You're back in with the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier on Tide 100.9. As we continue to move this morning, want to remind you that you're always able to get in on the conversation at 205-342-9904. You also can follow at Martin Houston 35 on Twitter and YouTube, and the Martin Houston 35 on Facebook. Like, share, tell your friend about them. Thank you for your support, and we're glad to have you with us. As we just wrap up this edition, Bama gets a big win. Watching this team play Saturday has to make you feel good with the way they were able to get it. Jaden Bradley, some of his playing time, I think, had suffered with Burnett being back and Griffin rising up, but he was the perfect guy for Saturday. Auburn decided that they were going to take the 3 away and then make it a hard 2-point shot. And Bradley led the way, but then Sears got going, and of course, Quinterly at times didn't do a lot in terms of his drive because it was taking some physical beat down, but the big thing was that it all worked out because Bradley stepped up big time.
Yeah, I mean, Bradley was very physical, taking it to the hole, made some acrobatic shots, finishing up underneath. Just a great performance. And, it's easy, especially for a young guy, to get down when they're losing minutes. But, he kept his, nose to the ground and was able to come up big when it mattered.
Yeah, and he did a great job. Namari Burnett, Griffin, both stepping up lately, but big time play in that game. He didn't do as much, but he just keeps playing, and that shows me that this team is balanced, deep, and a really good basketball team. Miller only getting 13, but that dunk, it looked like a dunk, more of a throw in, but he went up strong, showing a toughness to his game as well. So play not necessarily play of the game, but a big time momentum swing when he made that particular dunk. Thoughts on that play, and then we'll talk about Nate Oates and whether this team is going to be number one.
That was one of the most just nasty dunks I've seen at the college level, and especially at Alabama. And it was a momentum shift for sure. Just throwing it down the way that he did over a guy, and things really turned around for Bama after that.
And C.J. Watson says when Sears and Green were guarding each other, it was a treat to see. Those guys are great. I mean, I love Alabama's toughness, and I think it's resonating from the coach. Coach Oates made a statement several times, and he said, "This is Auburn's Super Bowl." What are your thoughts in Nate Oates talking a little smack in terms of that particular statement?
I mean, I feel like it was. I mean, was it kind of brash? Yeah, but if you look at the Auburn fan base, that's how they were feeling. I mean, this game had a feel of the football version of the Iron Bowl of Alabama's on top, one of the top teams, and Auburn coming in. We're going down all trying to knock them off, and I I don't see anything wrong with it.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It's just you usually don't hear the Alabama guys talk that much from an Alabama coaching standpoint. So it was a big deal, I think. And like you said, they camped out to get tickets to get in. They made it a big deal, and they were hyped and loud. And I think earlier in the program, Curtis Lewis said, anytime you win down there, it's a big win. Alabama, and we'll definitely be breaking it down for the remainder of the week, but big game tomorrow night, so we'll talk specifically with DC Capstone Report. Tennessee losing 3 out of 4, 2 of them on buzzer beaters to Vandy and Mizzou. Will Alabama be ready to play on Wednesday and take down? And if Alabama gets past Tennessee, do they walk the dog with Georgia, South Carolina, Arkansas at home, Auburn at home, and then the second best team in the league right now, the Texas A&M? Will Alabama be number one after today?
Good possibility.
Yeah, I think they have to give Alabama a chance. They've given Houston a chance. I know Houston has one more win than Alabama. I mean, one less loss than Alabama. But head-to-head, Alabama got the job done against them. It'd be interesting to see. I'd love to see this team get to number one and see how they handle that before we go into March Madness. So just maybe Alabama can get that number one ranking. Thanks, guys. Appreciate all of you for being a part of the show. Remember that you can always join us on the radio airwaves or via the app, but also we have the social media outlets that you're able to join on the live stream. So we appreciate you supporting us and always remember this: trust in the Lord always, lean not your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths. Roll Tide out there, everybody.
Thank you for listening to the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app. Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, no active wrecks. Things looking pretty good on this Monday morning after the Super Bowl and before Valentine's Day. But if you do see conditions, give me a call.